I find that the vast majority of players below the 4.5 level are working on completely the wrong thing in their practice. And that's why in this video, I want to explain what the 3 most common technical mistakes that players below the 4.5 level make, because once you understand what they are, you have to prioritize fixing or correcting these mistakes first before you'll be able to really develop your strokes into the sort of shots that you want. So hopefully you find this video helpful. If you do, it'd be great if you give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel before, it always really helps me out if you could do that as well. I'm going to place a series of links to resources to help you fix these technical issues that I'm talking about here. In this video, I want to keep it high level to kind of help you understand why it's such a big deal if you're making these mistakes, because I find the vast majority of players below the 4.5 level are trying to work on things that are way too advanced. They're not the real problems that they're dealing with. So often they've watched a video that's talking about some specific aspect of the technique, maybe the precise way that they're swinging, the contact, the follow through, or maybe it's trying to create the racket lag on the forehand. But then when you watch the players play, yeah, they're not doing those things, but they're not the real problems. They've got far more fundamental stuffs going wrong within their technique. And the reason that they can't improve and they can't develop past the certain point is because they haven't fixed the fundamental stuff yet. So tennis shots are sequences of events. You have to get the first part right first, and then it builds from there. Because say I'm making a poor quality contact, well, why am I making that poor quality contact that's causing the ball to go out? It's very likely that I'm hitting the ball late, because the vast majority of players hit the ball late. So why am I hitting the ball late? Well, it might be because I'm starting my swing too late, or because I'm not adjusting the speed of my swing, but it's very often because I'm starting my swing too late. So then we've got to go, well, why am I starting my swing too late? And there can be a few reasons for that, but normally it's because players aren't prepared and ready and set up in time. And because they're not set up in time, they're not able to start the swing at the right time, which causes them to be late, which causes them to make a poor contact. So what we really need to fix is why they weren't set up in the right position in time in the first place. That's the underlying problem. But often we have to go back further than that, because the number one mistake that I see from players is not recovering properly. Players hit their shot, they stay watching it, and they don't recover properly. And because they haven't recovered properly, they're not even ready in position in time to do a split step and prepare for the next shot. So the first thing that most players have to fix is their recovery after the previous shot. Or if it's someone feeding to you, just staying switched on and actually being ready in position before they feed it to you. But the first thing to focus on, boom, the intensity of your recovery and fixing that. And the good news is that's actually about the easiest thing to fix in tennis, because there's no real skill requirement. It just means you have to focus on it, you have to get back in position. Before I explain the second mistake, I just want to clarify that this isn't intended for beginners. If you're a beginner player, this video isn't meant for you. You probably shouldn't be focusing on this. This video is designed for players that have been playing for an extended period of time, that have got stuck at like the 3.0, 3.5 or 4.0 level. If that applies to you, you are probably making this technical mistake, and you don't need to take my word for it. Just record yourself and you'll be able to see it very clearly. The mistake is not doing a split step, so not landing from your split step just after your opponent makes contact. It isn't a nice added extra thing, it's part of every single shot. Every pro player does it, every college player does it, every high-level junior player does it as part of their shot. It's what starts the shot. You land from the split step just after your opponent makes contact, so then hopefully you can read the flight of the ball, and as soon as your feet land, my feet are wide so I can move in different directions. I bend my knees a little bit so I can store elastic. I'm then going to move as quickly as I can. But as soon as that ball lands, or sorry, as soon as my feet touch the ground, I want to see the unit turn starting. Whatever shot that you're going to hit, even if it's a volley, we want to see that unit turn starting, and potentially some kind of pivot step as well to help you start to move towards setting up in the right position. So this is what starts your shot. This is what enables you to get set up in the right position in time, because setting up in the right position in time is the key to high-level tennis, and that is the third mistake. So let's talk about that now. So the third most common technical mistake from players below the 4.5 level is not being prepared and set up in the right position in time. Now, you can't always be in perfect position, because sometimes your opponent just hits a good shot, but your job is to try and get set up in the best position that you possibly can. Because so many of the things that players struggle with, so many of the problems that are having to do with the contact, the reason they're missing shots and making errors, it's not really the stroke itself, it's because they just weren't set up in the right position in time. Like if you get way too close to the ball, it's biomechanically very difficult to then do anything good with your shot. So if you're the sort of person that gets close to the ball, hopefully you can recognize that. Watch the pros, they all have a good distance between them and their contact point. So you might need to address that. Potentially you might need to move forwards or back. Something that I see very commonly is people kind of pinned to the baseline. They're pinned to the baseline, the ball's coming towards them and it bounces and it's up there somewhere and they're trying to hit a shot from up there. And that is such a hard shot to hit. It's a relatively low percentage shot and it's a shot that you're not going to have much success doing anything with. Like, yeah, we could just kind of get the ball back and do that, but that's not really what we're after. We want to try and hit a quality shot that puts our opponent in trouble. So that either potentially means moving forwards and taking the ball on the rise, but that's not necessarily appropriate for everyone because that's a really hard skill. So it more likely means moving back, allowing the ball to drop in a more comfortable contact zone. But it's all part of the spacing, the preparation and setting up in the right position. And that's why you've got to fix the first two mistakes first. You have to recover after your shot because you have to split step at the right time, and you have to split step at the right time to give you the best possible chance to set up in as ideal a position possible for your shot, because by doing that it's going to give you the greatest likelihood of being able to hit a high quality shot. So think about what you're practicing at the moment. It's more likely something way more advanced than this. It's more likely something that comes towards the end of the stroke. But hopefully after I've explained this, you understand that potentially the reason that you're not able to fix that stuff is because you've got these other problems happening before it. So this is the stuff that you need to focus on addressing first. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense and it's been helpful to you. Like I said, I'm going to place various different resources down below. So I'm going to place resources about working on footwork and helping you to improve your preparation, how to kind of time the split step, how to get the technique of the split step. So I'll put all those down below, and I'll also place a link to a free workshop that I've got coming up, because every couple of weeks I do a workshop where I teach players how to improve different aspects of their game. Often we focus on technique and things like that, but a lot of it's also about brain-based training. So learning how to use brain-based training to improve your visual skills and your coordination, because really to play high-level tennis it's all about being able to see and move really well, and that's something that you can improve using brain-based training. So I'll place a link to the workshop and you can check that out if you're interested. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching and I will catch you next time.